Because probably the account. Anyway, we are preparing this to get to stream.
So you use custom live streaming service. 3 buttons. You know how to do it. Yeah, definitely. Sorry.
And we're live.
Cool. Okay, let me check on the YouTube link. Seems so. Guys, let us know. Do you hear us? Do you see us? Are we live?
Hello, hello.
Okay, give us
Yeah,
a
we
sec.
can see the wide screen, I believe, right now.
The white screen?
No, not the wide screen, the wide screen, you know, like with
the
the
wide screen.
Lynex app, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Hannah. Hi, Max. Hi, everyone who is watching us on YouTube right now.
Hello, hello.
I hope that you hear and see us well. And yeah, you already see that Max has started the presentation. But before that, let me remind you what is it all about today. Already majority of our community knows Lynex. Lynex is the biggest and fastest growing DEX on linear ecosystem. And today we are together with Max Iser, who is the head of BD at Lynex, to talk more about Lynex specifically, about DEXs in general, and answer the questions from the community. Guys, this is an amazing opportunity because all of you use DEXs on daily basis. And I guess some of you are using it for daily trading. Some of you are using it more rarely for some swapping assets or buying some assets that is difficult to find somewhere else. However, I bet that majority of us barely understand how DEXs work and what is the actual advantage of DEX between using CEX and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of topics to cover today and definitely a lot of practical questions from the community. That's great that you prepared it in advance as usually and sent it via our community channels. And plus, we will try to find some time to answer questions in the live chat. We have our dear host, Hannah, today. And and definitely Max, head of BD.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you guys, and I'm super excited to show you guys the new front end that we have been working on for a pretty long time. We are very happy with the result. I already went ahead and shared my screen to show you the beautiful new landing page that we have with the amazing logo turning around. So yeah, I'm gonna be here answering your questions. I'm happy to go over the platform, show you all the new functionalities that we have built, and yeah, any questions, any information you want on it, I'm happy to share everything.
Awesome. Hannah, what's the plan? Go on, please.
Yeah, guys. So welcome everyone for our today's AMA. As Nelly mentioned already, we are having a super knowledgeable representative of Lynex today, and we're about to ramble. So yeah, we already see them. The people are saying love Lynex. We love it too. We're bullish on that. So we prepared a huge alpha for you guys. So yeah, Max will share it with you with the new with the new UX and UI of the landing page and the app itself, I would say. And you can touch it firstly, yeah, within the Lynex campaign we're having right now and see all the core functionalities and the cool new stuff that are waiting for you right now, right away. But before moving to the main point of the presentation, I really would love to ask you guys to hit a like button because we have a lot of people. People need to see this. It's a real huge alpha right now. So push the like button, write your comment, and prepare yourself. Yeah, Max, handing the mic to you.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess where do you guys want to start? Should I just go ahead and show you some parts of the new front end? You guys want to go over some questions first? Maybe what the purpose was of the video?
Definitely. Let's start with the basics. And first of all, even though majority of community already knows about Linux, but one more time, it's never enough, just nail it. A short elevator pitch, how Linux differs from everything else on the market and why Linux is the biggest and the fastest growing DEX in Linux ecosystem.
Sure. Yeah. No, thank you. So Linux is the native liquidity layer and decentralized exchange on Linea. And Linea, as you all know, is a layer 2 built by consensus. And yeah, we are the main DEX on Linea. Now, there's a few things that are pretty unique about Linux, and we're going to go over quite a few things here today. So one of those things is that we work with concentrated liquidity, and I'm sure most of you are all familiar with concentrated liquidity. And one of the problems with concentrated liquidity is that it became pretty difficult for people to manage those positions, as a lot of this liquidity goes out of range when the prices move. So something that we do with Linux is that we integrate automated liquidity managers, as they're called. So these third parties, they actually manage liquidity for our users to make sure that that liquidity stays in range, is maximizing fee generation, and minimizing impermanent loss. So something that we see on our competitors and other DEXs is that people provide liquidity and are actually losing money on impermanent loss, or their liquidity is not actually being active. And that makes the whole DEX less capital efficient. On Linux, since all of our liquidity is managed by those automated liquidity managers, the DEX becomes extremely capital efficient. So what you can see is some really impressive stats at the bottom of this page, where we have a total volume of almost $5 billion that went through Linux. And at the moment, we're standing at around 10.35 total value locked, but we do around the same or more daily volume. So that's what I mean with capital efficiency. We have 10 million in TVL, but we do around 10 to 20 million in daily volume because we are so capital efficient. So that is one of the unique things about Linux. Another unique thing about Linux is that we have our own token, and if you lock that token, you actually get access to all the trading fees and the voting incentives. Also something that we will cover later today. But this makes it a very profitable avenue for people that are looking to receive passive income and access to trading fees.
Actually, this ref share is a very, very cool thing. I think Uniswap, right, introduced it kind of a year ago. And then it blew the mind of a lot of people because previously it was thought to be a gray zone from the regulatory perspective. But right now it is one of the core, not narratives, but utilities of the DEX token that make real sense for the community, correct?
Well, this is something that is actually very unique to the MetaDex model, the VE33 model, where by locking the token, you get a governance token, a VE token. So in this case, we have the liquid links token, and when you lock it, you get the VE links token. And with this token, you get voting power, and you can direct the DEX emissions. And by doing so, you get access to fees and voting incentives on a weekly basis. So on Linux, 100% of the trading fees go to these locked token holders. And that makes it extremely profitable. On average, we have been yielding around 100% APR, which is paid out weekly since the start. And well, we exist 1 year right now. So the past year, locked token holders have enjoyed 100% APR, which is extremely impressive.
Wow. And that correlates to what amount per users in the leaderboard, for example?
Yeah, good question. So, well, we do around 100 to 400,000 in weekly revenue in terms of trading fees and voting incentives for our locked token holders. So depending how many tokens you have locked, obviously, it can be extremely profitable. Yeah.
I
I actually on my Twitter page, on my X page, my pinned post is actually a case study on, hey, what would have happened if you would have invested 5,000 or 10,000 at the beginning stages of Linux and you started voting, and within a few months you actually made back all your money just from the trading fees. So yeah, if people want to check that out.
Top. Max, please drop me your Twitter link in Telegram, and we will publish it in the description of this video and in the live chat, so everyone has simple access to this.
Yeah,
Without
guys, don't forget to follow Max official X account because you're doing the history right now. You're talking to one of the like BDs who is working with Linux day to day, and he shares a lot of alpha on his X. Not only during the AMAs, though, you can find the hidden gems. So yeah, guys, don't forget to hit the follow button. And yeah, I'm still angry with you guys. Come on, give me some love, give some likes to us. I see a lot of people right now within the chat, and like they're mentioning a lot of good stuff about Linux, that they love it, and V-Links is the best solution. Yeah, totally. So yeah, sorry. Just a
Oh,
random
that's wonderful. Love your charisma, love your energy, Hannah. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah, just come on, grab some cookies, hit the follow button, and head to listen what's going on here. Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
No
I just
problem. That's always a good interruption.
I just dropped Maxim's X account. So guys, feel free to open it and to see the pinned post with the example. But actually, this is a good topic. I know it's not the major topic of today's discussion, but I want to remind everyone, guys, the strategy of a lot of smart investors who believe in certain blockchain ecosystem that will be thriving in the next bull run and upcoming season is to enter the ecosystem not only with native token, and we know all that linear native token will be live in approximately 1 month, right? But also the major DEX, the major meme, and the major launchpad. If you get all these ecosystem players in your portfolio, it's not a financial advice, by the way, but I know that a lot of smart investors among my network follow this strategy. Then you are more or less exposed to the ecosystem that you believe in. And in this case, I think it's more or less obvious for everyone that Linear, with the upcoming announcements on DEF CON, and we all heard yesterday on the Twitter space that Linear already shared some teasers. They will make a huge campaign with MetaMask MasterCard, and it will definitely bring some extra adoption to the Linear ecosystem. Plus, obviously, as every big L2 launching its own native token, it will be a lot of potential, a lot of interest, and a lot of traction, which automatically means that Linux will grow in volumes, grow in amount of assets and tokens that they have for trade and for different pools, and grow in revenues. And since 100% of this revenue is distributed across stakers of Linux token, I think that that sounds like pretty tasty deal, correct?
I would agree with you. Yeah, for sure.
100%, like totally right.
Good. Okay. What are the next questions? You are still sharing the screen, so maybe you show us what's the major difference between the V1 and V2. Right now we have V2,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, this is the new front end, and I guess we can start up with the swap page. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them, and we can go over them. But let's start with the swap page. So here we have the beautiful new swap page with a graph showing immediately. So we can go around here and we can say, all right, we have some wrapped ETH and we want to buy some Lynx tokens. We're gonna say we want to buy like this, and you'll see a nice graph, and you actually see the routing as well. So what path is my wrapped Ethereum taking to be converted to Lynx, which in this case is through USDC, and it's using one of the aggregators called KyberSwap. So something that we do is that we work with multiple aggregators to make sure that everybody that trades on Lynex always has the best price. So it checks multiple aggregators, compares prices, and gives you the best option. Well, this should make everybody pretty confident that they can always trade on Lynex and receive the best price. So yeah, the swap page, I guess, pretty straightforward. We have the nice graph here where you can filter. We have some settings over here where you can, if you want to play around with it, you can choose your own slippage, and you can enable or disable certain aggregators. But in general, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You can go around here and buy any token that you want on the Linea ecosystem. Makes sense so far? I guess no questions, right?
So far makes a lot of sense, and I see that Bingo Bongo is writing. At first, you'll be skeptical of Linux, but it's really convenient, and you can just delegate and get passive income every week. Yes,
Well,
right.
that's nice,
I
Bingo
think you
Bongo.
nailed it, right?
I think so too, yeah, for sure. Okay, so then I guess we can move ahead to where people can actually start earning yields on Linux. So we have, for example, the pools page where we can see all the different liquidity pools that are managed by different automated liquidity managers, as we talked about. So here we have the pools filtered on total value locked. So we have a pool wrapped Bitcoin, Ethereum. There's around 1 million in this pool. We can see the volume that's being done in 24 hours on this pool. So that's really impressive. You see a pool with 1.3 million and it has a volume of 1.2 million. So almost the complete TVL actually is being used on a daily basis in this pool. And you see the fees that it generates. And then when we go over here, we see the APR that can be earned by liquidity providers. And when we hover over the tooltip, we can see different ALMs. So we have first a strategy called Yield IQ, which is a strategy by Ichi, where the liquidity provider can provide liquidity in just one asset, which is in this case wrapped Bitcoin. We see another strategy by Gamma, Gamma Narrow, and another one by Steer. So if we go to manage, we can actually see those different strategies here, and we can select a strategy. And if we want to,
Sorry for interrupting. I'll be your, let's say it like the fly on the wall who is buzzing a bit. So, what's the main difference between these, let's say, the different strategies right now? So we're seeing like yield AQ we've had, like if we're taking the
yeah,
case of the VBTS, yeah,
yeah,
gamma narrow and the steer. What's like the difference? Like, let's just imagine that today I'm like a 5 years old child who has no knowledge or like a little knowledge about the new functionality within the DEX, yeah? And I really want to understand what's going on around. So I'll be asking you pretty dumb from some points questions, though it's really important to the community, especially for the new users from the Web2 audience or the audience that just getting into crypto to understand what's going on around. Yeah.
yeah.
So
No
yeah,
problem, no problem. There's no dumb questions, so I love all questions. So always
I
ask.
love it.
So basically, it's a very good question, and at the same time, it's a little bit complex. So I'm gonna try to keep it simple. But basically, once you provide liquidity, liquidity has to be provided in a range. So if you provide liquidity in Bitcoin, Ethereum, you want to provide it in a certain range where this is the huge difference with concentrated liquidity. So before concentrated liquidity, when you provide liquidity, it was provided in the full range, the whole price of the asset. But with concentrated liquidity, as you can see here, let's see if this graphs show up. But basically, you can provide liquidity in a smaller range. So instead of a full range liquidity, you can say, I'm going to provide liquidity in Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin US dollar, with all my liquidity being focused from $95,000 until $105,000. This makes your liquidity way more capital efficient. Instead of being spread out from 0 to 1 million, now it's spread out
Mhm.
from 95,000 to 105,000, right? Um, and these strategies focus on different ranges, basically. So Steer has a specific range, Gamma has a specific liquidity strategy range, and Ichi with Yield IQ has a specific range. Now, what is important for the user is basically, hey, which strategy has the highest APR, which strategy has the highest or the lowest impermanent loss. That's basically what you want to focus on as a user. If you want to dive really deep into the strategies, I would advise a user to go to those individual providers like Gamma, Steer, Ichi, and read up on their documentation and read up on their strategy. But in general, that's the difference. Like, how do those managers manage that liquidity? What range are they putting that liquidity in? When are they rebalancing those positions? And based on what triggers are they doing that? If we go to, for example, we can go to a pool
Should
here.
I should let's say put in all the activities like for example in the case of BDS and F I should put like within the liquidity both of them, right? Or only one asset?
Yeah, so that with Gamma and Steer, that is the case. So you would provide two assets. But
Mm-hmm.
that is pretty interesting. We have a lot of single deposits pools actually. So here we have a Links ETH pool, which is Yield IQ, and you provide liquidity in wrapped Ethereum. So if I go here, I can go and I can say, hey, ETH plus wrapped ETH. I can say I
Mm-hmm.
want to provide 0.02 $50. I want to provide liquidity here. And basically, now the strategy will take care of the liquidity division by itself. So I can go ahead and I can do this. So I'll confirm a few transactions, which will take a little second. So I have to approve the wrapped Ethereum token. Afterwards, I have to deposit the wrapped Ethereum token. And then I will stake the liquidity position into the gauge to have access to emissions.
Mm-hmm.
So now I am providing liquidity, and I'm gonna show you the whole process of this. So it is a few transactions that I have to do, which is all done now. And now I've provided liquidity into this pool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty easy, pretty straightforward. In this case, it's only providing one asset, and one asset, in this case, wrapped Ethereum, and it will take care of the position itself. So here we have my position, which is $54.
Okay.
Uh, and I can actually see the division of the assets that happened. So 31% of my deposit went into Lynx token, so 601 tokens, and 70% remained in wrapped Ethereum. This is a strategy, and you can go ahead and look at the analytics and everything, but this is a strategy that focuses on keeping a majority, 70% plus, in the wrapped Ethereum assets. So if people don't feel comfortable with having a lot of liquidity in a certain asset, this single-sided pools can be interesting, where you're sure that at least 70% of what you're providing remains in that asset that you like. In this case, wrapped Ethereum, for example, right?
And
And
like
you can actually see.
I can add it anytime, claim and unstake it, right?
Exactly. So as you see, I'm actually at the moment earning rewards while we're talking. So I've earned 0.01 cents on this $54 position. So I'm earning a 74% APR, which is not bad, I would say, compared to my bank account.
It's like one in a second or a couple of seconds. It's a good deal for me, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. So here I can already claim my rewards. I can add more liquidity, or I can unstake this position at any moment. If we go back to the pools page,
And
um,
sorry, and if I, for example, if I unstake the amount I'm having, I'm losing the rewards, or it stays with me.
so if you unstake the position, you will automatically claim the rewards first,
Okay.
and then the position unstakes. So you don't lose your rewards, but you will claim your rewards first.
And by the
Here we
way,
have a little tab. Yeah.
Sorry for I'm going to be like
Go
today
ahead, go ahead.
talking all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, we just have a question from the community. Regarding the swaps, I think Zarola mentioned that within the Twitter space we had that right now Linux has the Linea on though they're planning to expand within the future. Like, I'm just answering on the behalf of Linux, sorry. So
Sorry,
yeah,
you mean Linux to expand?
Yeah, Zafar is
yeah,
asking, currently swaps only on linear network, and is there any plan to expand to other networks in the future?
No, so Linux itself will always be linear native. Linux is focused on linear. Yeah. We have a broader expansion strategy, but we always deploy a native decentralized exchange. So it will always be native to a certain chain. If you are a lock token holder of Linux and we expand to another ecosystem with a native deployment, you will receive a stake into that expansion. Yeah, and it's something we have done so far once. So the other expansion is called Oscillex, which is on the Circuit ecosystem. And well, this might happen more in the future, or it might not.
So you mean Linux holders and stakers, they automatically receive a stake in any new future ecosystem DEX that you are launching, right?
Correct. Correct.
Wow, that is really
Like
fair approach. I love it.
everything that we do should always benefit our Linux stakeholders. So if you are Linux stakeholders and we expand or we become bigger, you should grow with us, obviously. Yeah.
Wonderful.
yeah,
And
we
by
also
the way, yeah.
sorry, Nelly. I'm an interrupter today. I hate myself for that, but sorry. We have a question from Jeff, by the way. So he's asking, what's your strategy for ensuring that Linea, TGE, and token are primarily targeted to Linux, not the NIL? Any alpha on that?
Haha, that's a good question. I mean, I guess it will be up to Linea to decide where they will deploy liquidity once that happens, right? But we obviously have a very close relationship and a good relationship with the Linea team, and we are pretty confident that that Linea liquidity will be prevalent on Linux. But I don't think Linea will choose one place only to be tradable, right? So there will be enough liquidity for everyone once the token comes out.
Yeah, I think Linea is built by the team behind consensus, behind MetaMask. These guys are enough experienced to understand the importance of having enough liquidity, sorry for tautology, right? And not squeezing with that. I hope they will not do mistakes.
Yeah, I agree.
We have a question from the live chat that I believe a lot of people who are watching us have the same question, maybe just hesitating to ask. Kima is asking, please show me how to make use of your highest APR pool. And indeed, you already kind of started showing the user experience and how to provide liquidity and how to stake, etc. But let's imagine, Maxim, let's imagine that, well, first of all, a big disclaimer for all authorities who will be watching this video and for everyone who is watching as well. Guys, it's not a financial advice, it's education, yeah? So everything Maxim shows, you should also consider, do your own research and always check your risk tolerance before entering any high-risk strategy. However, Max, just from the perspective, can you show me? I'm a user who wants to get maximum gains within strategies on Linux. And I'm first time using Linux for this. Can you show me how to identify the most profitable strategy with the moderate risk and how often I needed to manage it further after opening the pool once, for example? Should I rebalance it every day, every week, or should I just forget?
Well, so
Like,
that's the beauty. That's the beauty on Linux. You don't have to rebalance anything, right? I know there's other places where you have to rebalance and be actively managing it. On Linux, the beauty is that you can actually sit back and enjoy your rewards without having to actively manage it. So to give you a better understanding, you can always filter here on APR. You can have a look at some impressive APRs, obviously. So I'm actually seeing this now, USDC ETH pool. There is a new strategy here, which is called Gamma Long Short, which is yielding 370% at the moment, yeah, which is pretty impressive. And there's some other pools here, Hot Dog, Foxy, with all some pretty impressive APRs, I would say. So you can always filter and look whatever you are comfortable with to provide liquidity in.
and speaking about Foxy, it's written before between 4.6 to 206.
Yeah, so one
Okay.
strategy, which is providing liquidity in wrapped Ethereum, yields 206 at the moment, and the other one 4.6. So that's a pretty big difference. In this case, I would always choose to provide liquidity in wrapped Ethereum, yes.
Okay. And how risky is this particular pool, for example, Foxy ETH?
Yeah, risk-wise, obviously you would have to have a look also in what strategy am I providing liquidity in. So in this case, it's an Ichi-based strategy. So you would have to look at, hey, what is Ichi doing? When are they rebalancing? How are they keeping 70% of my asset in wrapped Ethereum, in Foxy? But you're always exposed to the underlying assets. So if Foxy or Ethereum goes down, your position obviously will go down in value. You can experiment in permanent loss when Ichi rebalances this position. So yeah, that's something on a I guess a personal evaluation. Hey, what do I feel comfortable with? What type of assets do I feel comfortable with to be exposed to? And what kind of risk in general do I feel comfortable with? It's a pool. If we look at the TVL, it's a pool which has 1 million in TVL. So there is quite some people that are putting some liquidity in these pools.
Awesome. And but you know what confuses me a little bit? If I'm not a DeFi user and if I do not really understand a lot in these descriptions of Ichi and other providers, then I will really struggle measuring these risk factors and everything. Can I just use simplify it somehow in Linux interface in order to avoid diving into extra materials? Well, I know, again, I empower, inspire everyone to read all the detailed descriptions, etc. But there are lazy users like me who do not want to dive in or who struggle to understand sometimes all these tech-heavy texts that are described there, what they should do.
I mean, I guess the main question is like, what assets do I feel comfortable being exposed to? So if you feel comfortable being exposed to Ethereum and an LRT based Ethereum, for example, like here, then I would say only provide liquidity in these kind of pools. So that's the first step. What assets do I feel comfortable being exposed to? And I guess from there on, it's everybody's decision which pool, which strategy will provide liquidity in. So yeah, that I guess it's a bit hard to answer. The main question is just which assets do I feel comfortable with.
By the way, do I understand correctly that during a bear market, the best strategy is usually to work with these, top blue chip altcoins, like for example, ETH, WE ETH, right? And on the bull market, you can have a bigger risk tolerance when everything is more or less in positive trend, right?
I mean, I would not delve into financial advice to people, so I would say that's also for everyone else to decide. But obviously, when certain assets go down in price, blue chip assets, uh, um, like personally it would make sense to allocate more resources to stablecoins such as USDC and USDT instead of blue chip assets. And when a bull market hits, you maybe want to allocate more resources to some blue chip assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But yeah, again, that's something completely for everyone else to decide what they feel comfortable with being exposed to at which moment in time, you know.
Got ya. Are you trading on Linux yourself, Maxim?
Of course I am.
Okay, and what is your preferred pool?
So those are some good questions. So I personally like obviously correlated assets because you minimize impermanent loss. So USDC, USDT, an LRT based Ethereum, Ethereum pool. The same with Bitcoin. But here and there, I would obviously also check out some high APR pools. So I'm. I don't really favor anything specifically. I always have a look around and see what I feel like.
Got ya. And do you have any pool? Can you show us the pool with Croc? We just
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that. You
Yep,
just
go
started.
on.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, do you play with the meme coins, huh? Do you play with the meme coins on Linnea? And what's your favorite, by the way? You just dropped it from.
Croak, you said there is a pool of Croak with 170,000.
Okay, and why Croc pool is has so much less APR compared to, for example, Foxy pool?
Okay, so now we get into the whole VE governance directing of emissions. So maybe now is a good time to go over that part. So basically, I have been providing liquidity as an example for you guys, right? So I can go to my positions over here and I can check out the positions that I have been providing liquidity in. So this is a pool that I just started providing liquidity in while we were talking. And this is a pool I've been providing liquidity in for a little longer, so you guys have a better idea of how this works. So here you can see I've earned $66 worth of rewards. And those rewards are coming to me in the form of O-Links, which is the emission token. Now, what can I do with this token? I can claim this token. So we're gonna claim it. So now I claimed some O-Links rewards. I can do two things with this O-Links. We can go to the option page and we can do two things with it. So here you can see my O-Links of 2400 tokens. I can decide to either convert this to liquid links, and in this case I will pay a fee and receive liquid links and get liquid links, which I can do anything. I can either sell it or I can keep it, or in my opinion the better option, I can convert it to the governance token, the VE links locked position. Right? If I do this, I get access to voting power. So I'm gonna show you what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have a voting page. And the voting happens in weekly epochs. So currently we are in epoch 53, which you see in the top right, and we still have 5 days to go. Not a lot of votes have been casted so far because we are very early into the epoch. But basically what is happening here? Everybody that has voting power will vote on a weekly basis and will direct the O-Links token emissions to the pools that they vote for. So to make that a bit more concrete, we have the USDC Ethereum pool over here. If this pool receives 100% of the votes this week, that means that all the O-Links emissions in the coming week will go to this pool on the pools page where we were just now. That means that all the other pools will have an APR of 0, and only this pool will have a crazy high APR. So this changes on a weekly basis. If 30% of the votes go to this pool, 30% here, and 40% here, then only these three pools will have an APR in the coming epoch. and all the other pools will have an APR of 0. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, why are people voting for certain pools? Basically, there's two aspects here. All the trading fees that are generated during that epoch go to the voters. So here we can see a projected fees of $13,000, and it already has 2 million votes. If I provide 2.5 million votes right now, that means I will have access to 50% of these rewards. So we see $13,600 over here. Let's round it to 14,000. If I provide 2.5 million votes right now, that means I will get access to $7,000 as a reward for voting on this pool. So pools with a lot of trading fees will get a lot of votes, will get a lot of emissions in the coming epoch, and thus a higher APR. Aside from trading fees, everybody at any time can add an additional voting incentive to any pool. So I can go ahead and I can add a voting incentive in whatever token. Can be can be a USDC, or it can be I don't know, a Foxy token or whatever. I can add it to this pool and get more people to vote for this pool. So as a project, this becomes interesting. If I want to incentivize liquidity, I can incentivize voters by providing voting incentives on a certain pool, which will lead to more votes, which will lead to more emissions, which will lead to higher APR, which will eventually hopefully lead to more liquidity in that pool. So this is where the whole voting comes in, where I just showed you my O-links emissions. If I convert them to V-links, I can start voting and I get access to these weekly fees and voting incentives.
So does it mean that if Croc community, for example, comes this week and starts voting for dedicating more rewards to Croc pool on Linux, then starting from the next week, this pool will get more higher APR and more profitability, correct?
Exactly. So here we have the Croak gold, as it's called. So here currently there's only 137 rewards in it. So as it looks now, this pool will not get a lot of votes because there's only $137 of voting rewards here. If the Croak team decides to add a $2,000 voting incentive to this, then suddenly the rewards are 2,137, and this will get way more votes and thus way more incentives. And thus way more emissions in the coming epoch, and thus a higher APR and more liquidity. So this is how the system works indeed.
So it's kind of
Sounds like
bribes, right?
yeah,
Yeah, another word for voting incentives is bribes, correct?
sounds like a Croc community need to press some C and head to Linux to vote for their favorite meme coin, right? Like I'm seeing key whispers here. Hey, let's just give us some. We need Croc bribes. Yay!
Yeah,
That's
guys,
Yeah.
from Croc
So
community, you should pink Croc team to put more incentives in the pool so to bribe the voters, correct? That is how it works.
correct. That's how it
Okay.
works.
And I again will interrupt you all, guys. Sorry, my bad. But I want to remind our community that right now, within the Linux campaign we are having on AlphaMind, we are having a bonus quest of for Croc community, basically. So yeah, Crockers, get yourself prepared since we are fighting here for really huge rewards. Within the Linux campaign, you can win 1,000 in BV links, if I'm not mistaken, right, Nelly?
Right. $1,000 worth prize in BVE Linux token and $1,000 worth prize in Croc meme coin. These
And
are,
also,
yeah, go on.
and also they're giving away their NFTs. I'm not saying anything. You just head to AlphaMind, start completing the bonus quest, start completing the Linux quest, and get your rewards, guys. Now I'm shutting my mouth. Shh.
Yeah, so guys, actually, a very simple thing. Head up to alphamind.co/build karma page you will see the Lynex campaign quest that is educating and helping you to understand how to use Lynex V2 and how to make simple basic actions there. While doing this on-chain activities, diving into the ecosystem, and plus also additionally, as Hannah mentioned, in the bonus quest, interacting with the specific Croc pool on Lynex, you not only earn and build this asset pool for yourself to see how much APR you can gain and how your portfolio can grow, but additionally you participate in the raffle. And for doing these simple activities that do not require the entry barrier is very, very low. It's like starting from $5, I believe, right? With Croc, something like that. You can win in the raffle that considers pretty heavy prize pool. So I think it's a great deal. Go and learn yourself. Yeah, Hannah, mic to you. Oh, Max, go on.
I was the interrupter. I'm giving mic back to Max.
Yeah, no. So I hope the voting and the whole flywheel becomes a bit more apparent right now. Like, hey, why are some pools having a high APR? Why not? So it's twofold. It's when pools have a lot of trading fees being generated, they automatically get a lot of votes because those trading fees go to the people that vote for them, and pools that or projects that bribe a lot, that have a lot of voting incentives, they also have a lot of emissions and thus a higher APR. So yeah, when projects want to push their pool, they can just simply add a bribe. The bribe efficiency at the moment, as we call it, is around 1.7 or so, which means that for every dollar in bribes, this leads to $1.7 in emissions. So it's a very efficient system. And something that I want to touch on as well is that we have something very unique where maybe you think like, hey, wait, I have to vote on a weekly basis now, and that's pretty active, and I maybe don't want to do that. We have a delegate system for you, which is pretty cool. And you can basically delegate your vote to any of those voting managers that will start voting for you. And the cool thing is that the delegatees, they are actually the ALMs, so the automated liquidity managers, Gamma, Ichi, and Steer. So if you vote for them, they're gonna try to vote to the best of their capabilities, voting primarily for their own pools, and trying to maximize rewards for you. If you wanna have more information, hey, which delegatee is best for me, you can go to the More Info tab and you will open a whole Google Analytics page where you can see exactly how they have voted in the past, what kind of pools, what kind of rewards are being earned by people that vote on these pools. So yeah, that is something cool that these ALMs are basically competing for votes. So we really closing the flywheel here where everyone is incentive aligned basically.
And the biggest trust community shows here is to Lynex, right? Because you have the biggest numbers here in the list.
In terms of Lynex receiving a lot of votes, you mean?
Right.
Yeah, so Lynex is always gonna vote in a way which is very protocol aligned. Voting for pools that make sense for the protocol to succeed. And yeah, Lynex had pretty decent APRs. So we have quite a lot of people delegating to Lynex. But yeah, that is not per se the best option for everyone, right? I think one of I think those over here, Gamma, Ichi, and Steer also have pretty solid voting strategies, especially if you want to minimize or maximize revenue and maybe vote over a less amount of pools. Lynex will always vote for a large amount of different pools, and some of those delegatees will vote for a less amount of pools. So you have less different rewards and more focused on specific pools, if that makes sense.
Lovely. Hannah, can you please check what are the questions from the community we have remaining?
Yeah, sure. So let me get through the chat, what we have right now. And we still have some questions, by the way, that we prepared with the community. And yeah, let's start from the live chat. So, 1 year, the mod is asking, 1 year since Linux TG. How are you monitoring and measuring the success of Linux, and what are the added unique values of Linux bringing to on linear?
Yeah, good question. I guess our success is mostly defined in being the clear DEX winner of the linear ecosystem and being the DEX of choice for all the major token listings, such as Foxy, such as Zeroland, Mandy, etc. So a lot of the big protocols on Linea decide to launch on Linux specifically for all of these advantages that we talked about. Another thing that we see is that Linux is especially the clear, like we are a winner in terms of TVL, but especially in terms of volume. So a lot of the trading volume passes through Linux, like linear liquidity really flows through Linux, which is amazing to see. And that is mostly because we are so capital efficient, and because we work with those ALMs. So it's we can really see that the technology behind Linux really works to create a really capital efficient DEX. So that is what we bring also to the linear ecosystem, a really capital efficient marketplace and a whole ALM hub powering the whole DeFi ecosystem, basically.
Awesome. And yeah, your team is definitely very bright minds because what you've built so far may be due to the very, very simple and user-friendly interface. It looks like something that is easy to use, easy to understand, and not very complicated, but once you explained how it works with all this bribe economy, with all this reward split, LLMs, etc., that is like crazy, crazy work behind the tech as well, yeah, conceptually. And Maxim, if I may ask, before we finish, I have a question that is related not only to Linux in particular, but to the industry in general. We all know that, well, crypto community is all about decentralization, privacy, transparency, trust, and DEXs are the best choice for this. But why do we see that volume-wise, CEXs attract much bigger volumes than DEXs? Why so many people continue trading and doing activities on CEX nowadays, even though we had a lot of cases when, for example, Binance faced certain regulatory issues in certain region, and then they start blocking accounts of some people from this region or with specific passports or due to sanctions or whatever else policies, right? Or whatever else. Actually, everyone who follows digital DGN, right, understands that if you send your money to CEX, it's not your money anymore. It does not belong to you. It belongs to CEX. And they can block your account, they can restrict your access, they can revert your transaction or whatever else. But still, the volume of trades, of transactions on CEX is way, way bigger. Why so? Do you have an answer?
Good question. I guess my opinion is that centralized exchanges are basically really Web2 like. So the whole world is used to Web2 like uh, software, Web2 like applications, interfaces, etc. And that is exactly what centralized exchanges offer, right? If you were used to trading stocks on whatever, I don't know, eToro or whatever exchange, you get a very similar experience with a centralized exchange, but then trading crypto with order books and um, exactly the same way. So a world that is used to working in such a way will choose centralized exchanges over decentralized exchanges at the beginning, just because they're easier to use and they're more aligned with what people have used before. But the real soul of Web3 and blockchain obviously lies in decentralized exchanges, and I see centralized exchanges as a onboarding tool for people to eventually flow to decentralized exchanges. But I think almost everybody's journey starts on a centralized exchange and then leads eventually to people coming to decentralized exchanges and really diving into what blockchain and crypto is all about. But yeah, to me, it does make sense that the majority still happens on centralized exchanges. I also don't see that changing anytime soon, and I also don't think that it is a huge issue at all. Let them onboard everyone and let everybody flow into the DeFi world from there on.
That's a valid point, right? And one of the factors why some people choose centralized exchanges, especially when we talk about newbies, is because they have pretty easy on-ramp off-ramp solution, right? So it's easy to get crypto by just buying some
Yeah.
crypto through a card. And considering that Linea is launching a MetaMask MasterCard on Linea, will you have any specific integration with it, allowing
Yeah,
Linux
the card is live already, actually, right? So
Yes,
people are
yes,
already
it's
using
ready.
MetaMask
Well,
cards.
I still continue say launching, right? You're right. It's ready. It's already live in certain regions in the
Yeah.
world, and it expands pretty fast. But my question is, does Linux plan to connect, integrate it somehow, enabling your users, for example, use this MetaMask card for on-ramp of ramp for using their what they earn, for example, you could use APR to pay for coffee and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's a cool point. And this is something that we will have a clearer picture on later in the year. It depends a little bit on the exact direction that Linea and MetaMask want to take the card. But there will definitely be some cool integrations with the whole DeFi ecosystem on Linea.
I think it sounds very sexy, and I'm looking forward to see the nearest future. Yeah, Hannah, do we have any more questions left for today?
I think only one that intrigues me, and let me just read it out loud. So it's more about the automated liquidity management that we've discussed with Zarolo on the Twitter space, though I want to hear your also opinion here. So, how does Linux integrate this automated liquidity management aggregation, and what are the major benefits for the users who just dropped by?
Yeah, I think we discussed this at the beginning of the stream, but basically, when V2 liquidity changed into concentrated liquidity, what I was saying is that basically a lot of people started losing money when they were providing liquidity because a lot of the liquidity was either out of range or they were experimenting a lot of impermanent loss. They had to actively manage it, and to combat all of this, ALMs came into being that started solving these issues, right? So liquidity being managed by them, being auto rebalanced by them, focused on minimizing impermanent loss, focused on fee generation or maximizing of fee generation. So all of this just makes it way easier for users to become profitable when providing liquidity. And we believe in, hey, let all of these ALMs compete on one platform, and we'll see who the best ALM is for what kind of pools, and users can show who they prefer and provide liquidity through those strategies and make them their delegatee. So yeah, we believe in competition and making this the ALM hub of Linea, and give all the information to the users basically.
Thanks, Max. And I would love to say, like, read out loud what one of the community members just wrote within the chat. So, guys, lock your links into V-Links, vote weekly, and earn weekly rewards.
I guess that's a good summary.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, I think we should wrap up right now because I remember Max said that he has only 1 hour for this AMA session, and the remaining questions that we have from the Discord and from other channels sent us in advance, we will send to Lynex Team and get answered later on. Plus, Hannah, do we have any secret word? Because community was asking about it in the live chat.
I love when community is asking about the secret code, even though we're not mentioning that within the announcement. It's like, it's just we we have so loyal community that they're always asking for the secret code. For this AMA now, we don't have any secret code, though you have the opportunity right now to jump on the quest we're having with Lynex to touch the new version of Lynex D app, yeah, to trade, to swap, to do your own research, by the way, to vote and to stake your links. And also you can jump on the Crow campaign that we mentioned today already a couple of times, and I would say snag the rewards and explore the spirit, basically.
Yeah, guys, and I want to say big thanks to Maxim, who was spending time today explaining in details how Lynex works, how different automated liquidity makers work, and how the bribes economy works, explaining the basic stuff and some advanced stuff to share knowledge and expertise with us. And I wish best of luck to the whole Lynex team. And I feel absolutely sure that in the near future, we will see it growing. It's already #1 on Linea. With the growth of Linea ecosystem itself, Lynex will grow further, that's for sure. And it will be harder and harder to get Max on 1 hour live stream because he will be super busy with expansion plans. But I hope that you will dedicate some time in the near future for AlphaMind community to meet again and to share the new advancements in your ecosystem, in your pools. And definitely, once we launch Mind Token on Lynex, we will need to sit together with you the same way we did today and show to the community what are the secret mechanics, different rewards and incentives that are included in the future pool on Lynex, right?
And how to bribe our community on the voting systems.
Yeah, 100%. No, thank you guys so much. This was very nice also for us to show what we've been building. And I'll make sure to always make some time for the AlphaMind community. You guys have been really supportive, so don't worry about that.
Sounds wonderful. Max, your last message to the community before we finish. What do you want to tell to the guys who are already using Lynex or who will use Lynex the first time, who are daily DEX users or who are rarely opening DEX for some specific task or reason?
Yeah, I want to really promote everyone to give us feedback. We really want to be as close as possible to the community, and we are building a project or a product for our community, right? So we really want to know, hey, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? So please go to Lynex, provide feedback, always share it with us. We're always more than open to have a chat also in our community. So yeah, I really want to promote people to check out what we've been building with this V2 and hear you guys' feedback, both positive and negative. So yeah.
Yeah, guys, you see in the screen, in the bottom right, you have the button feedback on Lynex website. So by clicking to this button, you can leave your honest feedback. You can share any bugs that you may have found. I guess you won't, but still, who knows? And any suggestions for improvements, for future features, for what could be done better. that is also the right approach to go to collect feedback and to understand what community really wants and needs to use, right? So wonderful approach. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maxim.
Thank you. Thank you guys for doing this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a nice day and see you soon.
See you soon.
All right.
Take care.